So, that cry for help that Sasha, Abraham, and Daryl heard over the radio a couple episodes back, turns out that was Eugene expressing his terror as the walkers pour through the breach in the wall and start to spread through town. A very intense episode. You know, situations like this, not everyone's going to make it. The Herd invades Alexandria on the Season 6 mid-season finale of The Walking Dead. Episode 8, start to finish. So, this episode of The Walking Dead opens up in a very similar manner to The Grove, the episode back in Season 4 that had the famous Lizzie Look at the Flowers line. That episode opened up as kind of an old-fashioned music played, nice pan through the cabin, and then focusing out on the window as we saw Lizzie and what ended up being a walker playing just outside. Now this episode opens up in a very similar feel. We have Tiny Tim's Tiptoe Through the Tulips playing on the record player in Little Sam's room, who has of course locked himself in, still traumatic, still reeling from the effects of the wolf invasion that just happened the day before. But he's trying to create a sense of normalcy and hiding up in his room. But there's a great camera shot as it pans over to the window and we see the trail of ants coming through the window, walking down and consuming the cookie that he has left on a plate. And that is a very appropriate image for what is happening right now to the town. The tower has fallen, the wall has been breached, and the herd of walkers that was kept outside is now invading and pouring through. So the very beginning, everybody just needs to get to cover. They need to get inside. There is a mad scramble where everybody heads off in different directions. Deanna gets wounded trying to help Rick, and they get themselves together. And eventually you basically kind of go into two main directions. You have Rick's group, which is Rick, Michonne, Deanna, Gabriel, who actually attacks and fends off a walker with a machete in this. Good job, priest that scares the hell out of me still. We don't know what you're going to do. But he's starting to set up. And then they go into Jesse's house with his kids as well, and Carl. On the other side, we have basically Carol and Morgan. Now, in the brief run, Carol slips on some bullets that were dropped by Ron, gives herself a little concussion, but still manages to get inside the house that Morgan had set up to house his prisoner. So, again, it sort of bails out to Morgan and Carol with Denise and the prisoner in one area, the wolf prisoner, and then Rick and his gang group into another. A lot of the town we don't know what happens to. We don't see what happens to Tobin. We don't see what happens to Spencer. We don't see what happens to any of those. That will probably end up with in the opening of next season. But this episode, again, just really focuses on these two primary groups. Now, over on Rick's end, we're kind of dealing with passing the torch. Deanna has been bitten, so she is on her way out. She is in that slow process of just degrading into death and transforming into a walker. She knows it, everybody else knows it, and so this serves as sort of a passing of the torch kind of idea of her expressing to Rick her support and trying to encourage Rick to be the better man that he can be. That he is the new leader of this town. Everyone knows it. He is the one that has the skills to push them through. But he has to look at everybody as his group. It's not just his group and the Alexandrians. Everybody is Rick's group now, and that's really what Deanna is trying to convey to him in her final bit of time here. At the same time, she is bonding with Michonne. Michonne has taken the plans that Deanna had brought for Rick a couple episodes ago. She's looked through them and she conveys to Deanna, I see what you're going for. This can work. And that's Deanna's message back to her as well. Yes, but what is it that you want? You have to have the strength to carry this through. Deanna has lived her life in service and building. She she has lived it the way that she's wanted to, as she says, from start to finish, reflecting back to the episode's name. And this is her conveying it back to Michonne. What is it that you want in life? You're going to have to take this and move forward. I'm glad you can see all of these things. But in order to fuel yourself, in order to really continue forward, you have to find out what it is that you want out of life. So some very nice moments here, like I said, in passing the torch and conveying these ideas of leadership and going from Deanna and her group and Rick and her group to all of it mending into one giant community. Then, of course, there's Carl and Ron. Carl is really moving up into a character very much like his father, very much like Rick. His encounter with Ron, I think, showed a sense of maturity and of just reflecting back to his ability to adapt into the world. He goes to talk to Ron. Ron turns around and is going to attack him. But before Ron gets his gun out, just as he reaches, and I really enjoyed that they had done this, Carl sees what he's doing and reacts and jumps him right away. And that starts a little tuffle that breaks the window and starts to bring walkers in. But Carl doesn't wait for Ron to turn out and point the gun at him or do anything of that matter. As soon as he starts the move, Carl recognizes it and reacts. It is very much like what Rick would do. And even afterwards, after they clear things up and he goes to talk to Ron, Ron starts to apologize. Carl already has the gun on him. Fine, we can talk, but give me that gun first because I don't trust you. You've already expressed don't have time for this. Very much like Rick. And I also appreciated the little moment between him and Rick just prior to that, where they come out, they're putting up the barricades over the door. Rick asks, what happened? Carl says, nothing, it's all good. We were just figuring things out. And Ron backs him up. Rick knows that he's lying, but he just looks back. He doesn't confront him. He just says, are you good? Is everything okay? To which Carl responds, yes, it is. So Rick is trusting Carl and his choices, that he knows what to do. It's not only a great family moment, but it's a great group moment as well, and really illustrating the kind of trust that you have to have in this world. You don't necessarily have to trust that people are always telling you the truth, but you have to trust that they know what they're doing and that they have your back. And that was really kind of the poignant moment right there. And then, of course, it gets down to we have to leave, we've got to pull out the walkers, they're invading the house, the only way to get out is to dress ourselves up in the walker goo and escape through the herd. Great, awesome. One thing I noticed, are they using less walker blood on them? Are they being more efficient? I know they've got it all over the fronts, but their heads are right next to the walker heads and they're still all sweating and smelling like humans. So a little more work, I think, might have sold that more, but of course we were with it. Got to give props to baby Judith for keeping it all nice and quiet under the cover of goo. Good job, girl. But little Sam, I'm kind of worried about. I know it's been just a day. Again, it has been just a day since the wolves attacked. And he's kind of trying to find his little cloistered safe zone up there. But while the walkers are all piling around, I really think someone should have turned off Tiny Tim on the record player. That's got to be just this constant beck and call to all the walkers around them. They're supposed to be quiet, and why they've allowed this to continue to play throughout all this kind of bothered me. And I understand Jesse's advice to him from parent standpoint is he's scared, so pretend to be someone brave. I get that. But this world is not kind to people that don't accept the reality of it, and I fear that type of advice in the long term may not play very well. Again, and just as they're walking out, covered in goo through the zombie herd, he's the only one talking. Mom, Mom, and nobody's even saying anything like, shh, you know, Big Brother's not doing anything, Mom's not doing it. Nobody is reacting to the fact that he is talking at all, and that kind of bothered me. But we definitely have to give props to Deanna for going out like a warrior. Yes, she was a politician through most of her life, but she didn't want to be killed. She was willing to take herself out, but when it came down to it, she used the bullets to take out as many other walkers as she could, and screaming battle cry right at them. Just wonderful performance. You know, she's great to have this character with us. It will be a sad shame that she is gone, but if you're going to go out screaming in a hail of glory and finally making those headshots, good job, Deanna. And also for the Latin translation, someday this pain will be good for you. Someday this pain will have a positive benefit for your life, and that, I think, is one of the most powerful messages this episode, and even really the show in general, can convey. Yes, these are rough, but you can't lose sight of the end goal. All things will pass, and this pain will one day be benefit to you. Meanwhile, over with Carol and Morgan, we're seeing kind of the opposite end of that trust, where the trust doesn't exist. Carol's been wounded. She's got a bit of a concussion, a little head injury there, but she knows that Morgan is holding a prisoner there, and this really kind of begins a conflict of their two philosophies. Morgan is really trying to hold on to his all life is precious, I do not kill mentality, where Carol is on the exact opposite of the spectrum. She has no problem killing people to protect those that she loves. And she might even be scaring herself with her willingness to commit to that. I mean, after the whole little back and forth, when she actually finally gets down into the room where the wolf is being held and she's trying to kill him and Morgan has her off, she has said, I will kill you to kill him, to keep anybody else from dying. I know that makes almost no sense, that she's willing to kill to protect. But of course, the wolf is the enemy. You know, they had just invaded. They are psychopathic. He's even said to Morgan, I will kill you if I get out of this. This is what I do. Morgan is trying to change him. But Carol sees right through that. She sees the danger that she has and is willing to sacrifice Morgan to prevent this wolf from getting loose and from killing anyone else. Carol is really holding on to that sense of group, but I think how far she is willing to go might kind of disturb her a little bit. Right after the wolf invasion, when she had picked up Mrs. Niedermeyer's cigarette and was sitting down and just staring at it, kind of got overwhelmed by what she had just done. And I think she's a great character in her ability to do what has to be done, but still, in a sense, holding on to humanity, at least still aware that those steps are a little extreme. But this face-off between her and Morgan doesn't end well. You know, she attacks and tries to get through. Morgan manages to hold her off and has to knock her out to do it. But he immediately pays for that as the wolf grabs his stick, knocks him out, grabs Denise, and now we've got a prisoner. He could easily kill all of them. But that's when Rosita and Eugene come through. By the way, Eugene, lockpicking is in his set of skills. That's kind of awesome, unexpected, but awesome. But they come in, do the little face-off. The wolf grabs Denise, takes their gun, and leaves, and we don't know what's going to happen to them. I mean, we still have Carol and Morgan on the ground unconscious, and we've got these three staring off as the wolf and Denise go out into this invading herd. Is the wolf going to use Denise as just basically walker bait in order to escape? Is he going to try and take her with him? She is a doctor, which she tried to express to him that is a useful and needed skill. Or in her attempt, are they going to run into Rick and the gang who are headed to the armory right now? A lot of cliffhangery stuff that we've got to wait till next season for, or till the mid-season break back in February. But again, just very exciting. A lot of nice character work back and forth. A lot of nice evolution. I was kind of hoping for a bit more action. I mean, the action started out big on the outside in this episode. Then everybody kind of ran into the house, and then it was just sort of a lot of talking. I mean, there was the invasion into Rick's house as they started to break in because of Carl and Ron's fight, and then they got further in through the house as it drew in more and more walkers. But not really the same kind of thing that I was expecting, with the whole herd invading the town, of just everybody kind of locking themselves up in the rooms and having nice conversations. That might be something that we catch when the season picks up again in February. They're obviously still in the midst of this. They're just leaving Jesse's place and trying to head to the armory, so we've got a lot more action to come. Plus, we've got Abraham, Daryl, and Sasha on their way back with the fuel truck. And if you did stick around and see the preview for the next mid-season opener, they do have a bit of encounter with Negan's people. I'm not sure how that's going to end up, but they do have a rocket launcher. So you got a small group of people in bikes, and you got a guy with a rocket launcher. That might help even the score. We're going to have to wait until February to find out. Very exciting. I hope you've enjoyed this whole half of the season. Try and remember, only a day has passed since this has begun, so a lot of activity, a lot of action, a lot of things happening, and really no break for the group. They're going to need like 4 or 5 days to sleep after this is all done. Anyway, I hope to see you back here in February. Please remember, I do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reviews on Tuesdays. There's 2 episodes left of that. I am trying to get to Jessica Jones, but my schedule has been very busy. As soon as I can get in, I will be posting those up as well. So, if you like my ranting and raving and reviewing, please press like. Feel free to subscribe, join the group, comments in the section below. I always appreciate it. You can catch me on Twitter. I'm at Darren Jakes. So I hope to see you guys later in the week in my other reviews. If not, I will see you in February. February 14th, it's going to be a hell of a Valentine's Day from The Walking Dead. Y'all take care. I'm D, and I will see you later.